Surprised by grace. By faith, the harlot Rahab did not perish with those who did not believe when she had received the spies with peace. The Canaanites had overstepped the bounds of grace. For that reason, the command to Israel was, "Go in, kill them all, and seize their possessions." However, there were still people in Canaan who had not crossed those boundaries. All who were willing to accept the grace Elohim wanted to extend to them were saved from destruction. Grace for the people of Israel. Second chance. Grace for Rahab, the faith of a mustard seed, the covenant extended to Rahab. Grace for the Gibeonites, deceptive ambassadors, blessing and curse. Grace for the people of Israel. Second chance. Then Joshua, son of Nun, secretly sent two spies from Shittim. "Go, look over the land," he said, "especially Jericho." When Moses sent spies to inspect Canaan, the people refuses to enter. 40 years later, new spies were sent with different results. Spies are sent publicly, 12 spies, secretly 2 spies. Performance of the spies: 40 days inspecting, 3 days in hiding. Report of the spies: they discouraged the people, they encouraged Joshua. Although the new generation had failed miserably in the face of Balaam's temptation, Elohim gave them a second chance. This time there were no bunches of grapes, no fruits of the land, only a story of faith, that of Rahab, which encouraged Israel to possess the promised land. Grace for Rahab. The faith of a mustard seed. By faith, Rahab the harlot did not perish with those who were disobedient, having received the spies with peace. What was Rahab's faith based on? Notice that Rahab speaks of events that everyone knew about, such as the crossing of the Red Sea. But while the others feared the Elohim of the Hebrews, she chose to take refuge under his wings. Why, if she believed in Elohim, did she use a lie to help the spies? Her fledgling faith didn't imply a complete understanding of Elohim's will. She acted as best she could to help the spies and save her life and that of her family. Knowledge would come later. The Bible commends her for the decision she made, for her understanding of Elohim's way of acting, and for the way she backed up her words with concrete actions. Rahab is an example of what would have happened to any Jericho resident who had surrendered to Elohim. The covenant extended to Rahab. "If any of them go outside your house into the street, their blood will be on their own heads. We will not be responsible. As for those who are in the house with you, their blood will be on our head if a hand is laid on them." Rahab's logic was indisputable. "I have acted kindly," he said, and saved you. Now act kindly and save me and my relatives." Although she was not aware of it, Rahab was asking Israel to act toward her as Elohim himself had acted toward Israel, that is, with kindness, he said. The spies asked Rahab to fulfill the same conditions they had fulfilled to escape death in Egypt. In this way, she was included in Elohim's covenant with Israel. Israel at Passover. They had to anoint its lintel with blood. If they left home, they died. Rahab in Jericho. He had to put a red corn in his window. If she left the house, she died. Grace for the Gibeonites, deceptive ambassadors. Then they went to Joshua in the camp at Gilgal and said to him and the Israelites, "We have come from a distant country. Make a treaty with us." Notice the similarities and differences between Rahab and the Gibeonites. Faith elements. Basis means Goal, immediate results, long-term results. Rahab, hearing. Gibeonites, hearing. Rahab, lie. Gibeonites, lie. Rahab, to be spared. Gibeonites, to be spared. Rahab, deliverance. Gibeonites, deliverance. False citizenship, servitude. Rahab lied spontaneously to free the spies. However, the Gibeonites lied deliberately, intent on deception, using cunning. Furthermore, Israel's leaders failed by not consulting Elohim. This placed them in a dilemma: destroy the Gibeonites or respect the oath. Blessing and curse. You are now under a curse. You will never be released from service as woodcutters and water carriers for the house of my Elohim. Sparing the Gibeonites' lives would have disobeyed a direct command from Elohim. Breaking an oath like the one who sworn to them was also considered a sin. How was the dilemma resolved? Their lives were spared, but they were placed under a curse. The curse was to be servants from generation to generation. This placed them in close relationship with Elohim's people, from whom they were never separated. Furthermore, being water carriers and woodcutters for Elohim's house put them in constant contact with Elohim. By Elohim's grace, the curse became a blessing. I take no pleasure in the death of the wicked, but rather that they turn from their ways and live. The children of Israel were to occupy all the territory which Elohim appointed them. Those nations that rejected the worship and service of the true Elohim were to be dispossessed. This was Elohim's purpose, that by the revelation of his character through Israel, men should be drawn unto him. To all the world, the gospel invitation was to be given. All who, like Rahab, the Canaanite, and Ruth, the Moabitess, turned from idolatry to the worship of the true Elohim, were to unite themselves with his chosen people.